Could taking a political stance on social media get you in trouble at work? A lot of people are doing it. Up next, we'll talk to an attorney about this issue. We'll be right back. Welcome back and good morning, San Diego. Could simply posting your personal opinions on social media get you into hot water at work? Here to discuss social media in the workplace, Dr. Wendy Patrick, an SDSU lecturer and attorney. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us on this Easter Sunday. We have the First Amendment right.
We do.
To say what we want, as long as it doesn't put people in danger. We can't cry fire in a crowded theater, we know this. But does my employer have the right to terminate me if I say something that may be offensive on my Facebook page? That's the big question right now we're facing.
And it depends on so many different factors. You know, everybody wants an easy answer to a question that is just, that takes so many things into consideration.
Right.
One of the biggest things is, where do you work? Do you work for the government? Do you work for a news station that might have its own Twitter feed?
Right.
Are you posting using your own equipment, company equipment? There's so many things to think about. It kind of ties into the bigger question that a lot of people are asking is, how influential really is social media? Why do we risk getting ourselves into trouble or spending so much time trying to change other people's opinions? Or what exactly are we using social media for is another one of these questions.
How powerful is answered by how pervasive social media is, right? I mean, I tell my kids, who are all but grown now, everybody's watching, kids.
Yes.
So you can't post a smart aleck remark to a friend and think nobody, like a teacher or a future employer, is going to see it, right?
Well, that's right. And you know, a recent survey came out and they were looking at the average amount of Facebook friends, and they came up with a number of 359 Facebook friends. Now, if I asked you to sit down and make a list of 359 of your friends, could you do that?
No.
So who are these people that we are spending all this time with online, and how much can they influence our opinions? I mean, statistics still show that we are influenced most by those closest to us, those whose opinions we value the most. So is it true that if we log on and follow the Twitter feeds of celebrities that they're necessarily going to change our foundational views of the world? Probably not. Okay. Why then are we spending the kind of time we spend? And I don't mean you and I, you know, who has the time, right, is what we're probably thinking.
10 minutes a week, that's about it for me.
Right. And you gave it up for Lent,
I did.
Easter's today, so you can log back on.
Right.
But how much is it really influencing public opinion? That's what everybody wants to know.
Yeah, well, public opinion, at least if you look to the social media, the Facebooks of the world, seems to be moving towards support for same-sex marriage. I mean, how many of those red and pink equality boxes are we seeing? The Huffington Post, for example, is now posting its picture on Facebook as the red and pink equality box. Does that constitute a political statement that could maybe get me in hot water with my employer? That's
one of the things people have been talking about most this past week is that kind of activity, regardless of the issue, regardless of what side of the issue you're on. Does expressing your views in that kind of a forum, is that something that an employer could potentially be angry for, retaliate against you for, discipline you for, whatever it is? That's the question that depends on so many different factors, and it's a tough one to answer. And there's a lot of debate on both sides of the issue as to should that constitute viewpoint discrimination, or is it simply that you're using your time, your employer's time, to do something that is unauthorized? In other words, you could step out of your workplace and wave a flag around at a rally in front of the courthouse, and you'd probably be in the same position. You're not at your desk doing what you're paid to do. Those are some of the arguments that people are saying on both sides of that issue. Right.
But do I have the First Amendment right to express my opinion online?
You still have your first...
On my own site.
Well, if you're on your own site and you're outside of the workplace, there's lots of leeway as to what the First Amendment permits. But a lot of the time, still, people are forgetting that a lot of activity is not First Amendment protected. You gave a couple examples: defamation, harassment, discrimination. There's lots of things that, you know, there's caveats to every broad right that we enjoy, and those are some of them.
Dr. Wendy Patrick, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning, San Diego. We'll be right back in just a second.